Welcome to Book Buddies, and today I have another series to review. Let's see if I can get this thing all on camera. Yep. As you can see, we're talking about the How to Train Your Dragon series today. It is a very long series, 12 books in total, but I enjoyed every single one of them, and I'm really excited to talk about them. So, let's get into it. In case you haven't read the series, it follows a boy named Hiccup. He's awkward and he wants to prove himself, especially because his father is the chief. And all the boys in his tribe, they have to train a dragon. So he ends up with this little dragon named Toothless. Unfortunately, Toothless is tiny. The reason he was named Toothless is because he has no teeth. It was actually a cruel nickname that was given to him by Hiccup's cousin Snotlout. And Toothless is a bit disobedient and mischievous, and especially because Hiccup and his best friend Fishlegs are quite un-Viking-esque. They don't really know how to properly train their dragons, especially because there is a book about training a dragon in this story, but so here's the front cover. Little acknowledgement to his mother and this library sheet. A little about the author. And all you have to do to train your dragon is yell at it. And that's the book! So, not working for Hiccup, but then ultimately throughout many books and adventures, he and Toothless become really great friends. And Hiccup becomes his own man. The highlight for this series was definitely the characters. There were a lot of them throughout this series, but I did not get confused by them. They were all very distinctive, especially our main characters. I love how Hiccup starts the series at about 11, I want to say, and he's very awkward. And the thing is, he's still a little awkward, not a conventional hero at the end of the series, but he is older and he's able to become a great hero even though he's not what many people would expect. And he does get bravery and strength throughout it. Also, his relationship with his best friend Fishlegs is really sweet. Specifically, they are one of the main reasons they're really close in this series is because they're both awkward, not conventional Vikings. And throughout the series, we get to see all they've gone through. Fishlegs isn't as present in some of them. I think specifically in the fourth book, the whole story is Fishlegs is dying and Hiccup has to go and save him. So we don't see too much of Fishlegs here. We do see a lot of him throughout the series. However, they're not the only main characters in the series, because I believe in book 3, we come across Amakazi. She's from another tribe, and she is, even though she is very young, I believe she's about the same age as Hiccup and Fishlegs, she is fiery, and she knows what she wants, and she's just a really fun, great friend to the guys. But we also have the villains. Specifically, our main antagonist of the series is Alvin the Treacherous. And he's not a nice dude, and even though you think he's taken care of dead at the end of some of these stories, he comes back with fewer parts than before. I won't go into too much detail, just in case you are planning to read the series, but Alvin does lose a couple of body parts throughout it. And then we also have the parental figures. Stoic is Hiccup's father. He believes in his son, but he does know, Hiccup isn't conventional, and there are times when he doubts him a little bit, but you can ultimately tell that he really loves Hiccup. And we also see his mom, Valhallarama, and then Gobber is a really fun character throughout the series. He's sort of the mentor, and he's a little wrapped up in his own ways, but similar to Stoic, you know that he really cares for him. Then you have Snotlout. He is Hiccup's cousin, and he's really jealous, and he's a bit of a prick throughout the series, But he does have a nice arc, especially at the end of the series, where he is also maturing along with Hiccup. Something else I really love, I think the writing style is really fun. This is the type of series where it does talk to you at times. Well, specifically sometimes the author will drop a little bit of lore into the story, or kind of ask the audience or make a comment being like, they know that someone is reading this. So it's a little bit like Series of Unfortunate Events. Not entirely, but it has a similar flavor to it. I also thought that the consistency was really great. Book 1 is pretty lighthearted, and then Book 12, I mean, as the series goes on, it does become darker, more mature, but it does a really good job at still keeping the lightheartedness without feeling forced. I think there are still moments in How to Fight a Dragon's Fury where the author is still making comments here and there about the situation. It's like, even though this happens. And I think it does a really good job at this whole idea of keeping something consistent in tone while still maturing and changing throughout. I will say though, I did have a few issues, so we're just gonna touch over this. I think the middle of the series, specifically books 4 through 7, felt a little, not necessarily filler, but they did feel really repetitive. I remember I wrote my review for the 4th book on Goodreads, and I believe it was along the lines of, it's getting a little repetitive. It's specifically, Hiccup wants to do something good, Snot Owl comes in as being a douche and saying he should be Chief, not Hiccup, especially because he's his cousin. But then more bad things happen. Hiccup realizes he has to do it. He goes on an adventure, comes back, everything's good. And it's an enjoyable story each time, but it does feel a little repetitive. However, I think even if the middle books are repetitive, I am still going to reread them when I eventually reread the series. And I think after reading all of them back to back, I'll probably be able to better appreciate things because, you know, a lot happens throughout 12 books, especially when the 12th book is almost 500 pages in length. So perhaps when I go back, reread all the series, knowing exactly where everything ends, it will make me appreciate the middle ones more because I realize, oh, this little moment I thought was kind of inconsequential, not too important, it has real weight as the story goes on. And I think, especially with all these characters and all the adventures, it makes a really great series where maybe it does feel a little juvenile at times, but I think it is a series that can be enjoyed by anyone, especially if you love dragons and adventures and want a hero who's a little bit more awkward and doesn't know entirely what they want. Those are my thoughts. If you enjoyed this, please share it with your friends. I'm Louisa Hammond, and I'll see you next time.